can't see. I'm going to attempt to learn the Poulenc in a week. So the first thing I'm doing is writing in some fingerings. Very important. 2-1, 3-1. That's very comfortable. It's comfortable, but I still can't get it.
Okay, hello to episode 6. Oh my God, Ezra.
We're getting up there.
Episode 6, people. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about how to learn piece fast.
How to learn a piece fast. Ezra, tips?
I'm gonna cut to the chase so we don't get complaints that this video is clickbait. Don't go fast. Don't. If you won't listen to me, maybe you'll listen to Eliran say it.
Don't go quickly. Don't. Just don't. It's not worth it. So here's the first thing. The first point I want to make is it's really important that when we are talking about learning something that we identify the parameters. I can sit here and give you a very lengthy lecture, and I am, but the point is what the parameters are. Am I supposed to be playing it next week? Am I supposed to be playing it at the end of the semester? Like, what exactly is happening here? To learn something fast, just as an idea, is a very complicated thing to answer without the specifics, okay? So let's talk about 3 different scenarios. Scenario number 1, I just have to learn the piece for the end of the semester, but I want to learn it quickly, okay? Yeah. Scenario number 2, a friend of mine asked me to play this piece with him, let's say next week or in 2 weeks or something like that, and I have to make a decision whether I can or cannot say yes to the offer. And option number 3, I have to play it tomorrow, go. Okay, which scenario do you find yourself most often in?
Well, based on my personality. The third one?
The third one, yeah. So I know that those of you who are watching this right now are probably going, are you going to help us or not? I am going to help you, but I want you to keep in mind that each one of these scenarios calls for something slightly different.
Wow. I mean, it was an improvisation.
Okay, so let's assume we're with scenario number 1. I just got the Chopin Ballade. I need to learn it for my juries at the end of the semester, but I just want to learn it quickly. So what are some things that I can do? The way I look at this issue is that I want to put really firm foundations of understanding of the piece. And that's going to be, a technical understanding, a structural understanding, an emotional understanding, and of course the fingerings. How do you do that quickly? And my answer to that is you do it, Like, it's not about doing it quickly, it's just about doing it. How much detail, that's up to you, right? But I think that's the sort of what I'm going to go into in a second is the more you feel that that foundation is solid, the more you're sparing yourself problems like, a technical injury, like, a passage that you can't memorize, like rhythmic issues. The more you do the fundamental work at the beginning of learning the score, the more solid it's going to be, and the less problems you're going to have later. To learn something quickly is not so much about how fast you learn it, but how many problems you eliminate in the future.
Right.
The first thing I would do is, what's the first thing we do?
Fingerings?
Put the fingerings in. And yes, it's tedious, yes, it's annoying, but it gives me a solid starting point.
Yeah.
Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it page by page and analyze the motions. If you check out the videos where we talk about the frames, and we'll link it below or somewhere, we'll link it, and you can see what I mean. But you basically look at the elbow motions, you look at the rotation, you look at the release. You just go, okay, I just need to figure out how I'm going to move my hands through this beat. You do it once, you do it maybe twice. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze it structurally. I know some people died on the other side of the screen when I said that. Don't faint. The point I'm trying to make is that you take your pencil and you mark phrases, beginning and ending of phrases. You mark important harmonic points where there are important modulations. for me, especially because I feel that my rhythm is always the thing that sort of, I actually think that yours too. No, the rhythm is the weakest part. I take a long time. I try to conduct as I play the music. I try to count hypermeasures. Watch the video. Try to count hypermeasures just to understand how things are constructed. Look at the way the motifs develop in the piece. What's the climax of the piece? Just look at it from that perspective. Once you do it, you feel that you know the piece. You feel that, if you go on stage and you're like, what the key? I know what the key is. Right?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes.
Sometimes. And then, of course, and this is, I think, where people probably go like, but I don't have time to do this. It's important you do this. It's important you take a position on the technique, on the structure, and of course, the emotion, the conflict in the piece. So I make room for it in my being. I know that's sort of a weighty statement, but that's really the point of learning, that you assimilate the information, you assimilate here, you assimilate it here, and you assimilate it in your body. Maybe it's not your final position on this issue. Maybe you're going to change your position many times. Maybe it's going to be a love affair. Maybe it's going to be somebody died. It doesn't really matter as long as you take a position on it.
So this is pretty obvious, but I'm finding that things I didn't really spend a lot of time analyzing, when I'm trying to play it with the metronome, it's just not working. Or sometimes it's just like it's totally muscle memory, which is not great.
Now, according to scenario number 2, I have 2 weeks, right?
Right.
So now I have to figure out how much time do I really have and what do I really need. So let's say the piece is very difficult. Okay, let's say it's not a Schubert song, 2 pages, but it's something like the ballade or something like weighty.
Don't stop!
Ezra!
You're in the middle of a miracle.
I would definitely zoom through the fingering process because that's the thing that you really, really need. And especially if you need to memorize something, right? Yeah. I would sight read it and I would see, okay, page 1, I can do this. Page number 2, bracket the place that you see that you have a technical issue with, and that just break that section down. So again, we're not breaking everything, we're not looking at every little thing, but we're just looking at the sections that are problematic. In terms of structural analysis, I would definitely mark the phrases because I think without that, you're really going to go into limbo. Mm-hmm. It also helps you then identify where sections are the same and where there's just a modulation. So I would mark the phrases and I would look for the overall structure, how the piece is constructed, and maybe I won't go too deeply into the rhythm and to conducting and breathing and all of that stuff. In terms of the emotional conflict, I will do that because I think that for me is the quickest way to get it into the system. Oh, this section is about the love affair and this section is about when the person dies. Now, because you have to assimilate it very quickly, there's some other things that you could do, like what you said earlier, listen to recordings. If you listen to the recordings, you're going to get the audio of the piece into your system. I will stress that you need to listen to 2 or 3 performances of the piece. Don't put the same performance on loop. Why?
You get stuck with their interpretation.
Exactly. Okay, so then according to the third scenario, so I have to play this piece tomorrow. What do I do now?
Panic. I have one more day. Honestly, I'm panicking.
True, you should. No, it's not going to help anybody. If I have to play it tomorrow, the test is you put it in front of you and you sight read it. And then you see where you're at. If you can play it in tempo, from beginning to end, with a few stumbles, I would just highlight the places that you're stumbling at and I would break those down. If you feel that the tempo is, you could read it, but the tempo is slower, then I would put the metronome on and I would just try to push myself to read it faster. If you feel that there are any sections in there that are not solvable in the short time that you have, then I suggest that you reduce what's written. And usually you can take something out, or you can play block chords, or take the inner voice out, or do something to make it playable. But what we're left with, if I have to play tomorrow, I will still put the fingerings in. Because if you're panicking, that's really the first thing that is going to go, is like which finger goes where. So still put the fingerings in, and then read it. Questions?
What if I suck at sight reading?
Then playing something tomorrow for a friend is not something that you should do.
There you go. And there you have it. Know your limits. If you can't do it, just say no.
So we're identifying some issues that really, what's the question behind the question, right? So let me start by saying there's nothing wrong with wanting to achieve something with minimal time investment and maximum out. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
But I think there's probably a little bit of misconceived notion that we should, just pull a book of great music, open it, look at it, learn it, and play it tomorrow. And I'm here to tell you that there are a few geniuses like that. I had the privilege of meeting a few of them. There are a small percentage of the majority of people who are playing this instrument. For most of us, it involves a certain amount of work.
Whenever I had to learn pieces for vocalists, I would look at it, and I would just I would sight read it, and I would go through and try and reduce what I can. But at the end of the day, it was a disaster.
I mean, the natural question to ask on this issue is, how important is your ability to sight read when it comes to learning something quickly? Answer?
If I had come into my undergrad being able to sight read, I would have fixed 90% of the issues.
Really?
Yeah.
So what is your advice to people watching this? Practice your sight reading?
Practice your sight reading. And I guess there's how to practice sight reading, because obviously no one wants to open a book and just sight read things that are also unrelatable to you. I sight read a lot of video game music now because I know what it sounds like, so then
And it's fun.
I like the piece.
Yeah.
It's fun, 2. And 3, I know what it sounds like, so then I can see rhythms, and when I recognize them other places, it helps a lot.
Great. A few things about sight reading. I think I mentioned it to you, but I felt that my sight reading improved tremendously once I released my technique. When I would look at the song or something that was, let's just call it user friendly in terms of sight reading, I would see the pattern. I would go, oh yeah. I just have to release, I have to move. I see the pattern. I don't have to think too hard about how I'm going to play it. And then you can release your mind to look at the next note. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the best way to get better at sight reading is improve your technique. What I think will get you to learn the piece quickly is deciding on your own protocol. What do you need in that protocol? And once you know what the protocol is, you can start eliminating things that if you don't have the time, then you don't have to do. So we're going to try to give you a short example of what we actually mean in practice. So this is the third improvisation by Poulenc. I have to learn this quickly. So first phrase. Do I have fingerings? Am I going to do 1, 2, 3? What do you think?
I actually think that 1, 3, 4.
1, 3, 4. Yeah?
Yeah.
Remember, I did 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to go with mine, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, I get it.
That's easy. Elbow motion. There's this little shaping here. That's not comfortable, but that's what it is. Can rotation help me a little here? Here especially, all of these fourth. Release, yes. Not to get stuck on these. The left hand, obviously 1, 5. You have... I guess I can live with this. That was the technique. How long did it take me?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Structure. First of all, I'm going to say that that's the beginning and the end of my first phrase. I'm sort of in a B minor, right? So you can put a little B minor here. Dissonance, hello? Anything interesting about the melodic? I think that's probably the focal point. Or rhythm. Okay, so is it, because it's presto, am I really going to do it in 4 or in 2? What do you think?
Probably 2.
Probably 2. Oh, look at that. Much easier. Okay, so definitely put here, cut. Character. What do you think?
I think this is the most manipulative piece I've ever heard.
Manipulative, so like cunning, right? Who's cunning? I think Ezra. And voila, we have an interpretation for the first phrase of the... Yes?
Yeah.
Was that crazy?
It's just funny because you're the biggest Scorpio I know.
How does that relate?
And I think that now, what would be good is if I if I vlogged me practicing every day for a week, and then like see how fast I actually learned it.
Okay.
Yo, this bench is too short. There's only 4 pages. Really behind. Gee, it would sure help to have a pencil.
Today we're here to discuss what?
I tried learning the Poulenc in a week.
Yes!
First thing I learned was that 3-4-5 is in fact a much better fingering than 1-3-4.
Hey, we are back in business. I guess I disagreed with you because I put 1-4-5.
What? Actually, that, yeah.
What else did you learn?
The more thorough you are, the better. I mean, I think anyone could tell you that.
Brilliant, Ezra, brilliant, yeah.
Actually, really going through the different layers, especially when you got to spots that were difficult, really was like so time effective. Very literally, something that helped me learn was improvising on certain spots.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. He
Also-
has time to improvise. He doesn't have time to practice, but yeah. This is going to be high, even if... So, like really high from above. Try. I think you have wrong notes in there. Check your note. You have wrong notes. Right? And this is why he comes here, because, yes, I need to tell him that he has wrong notes. You're octave too low in the left hand.
Oh my god.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Ezra is going to dazzle us with his rendition of the Poulenc third improvisation. I can't wait.
So I think I'll spare you the rest because it's a little downhill from there. The whole message of the video did not filter into my brain until the very last day we were shooting. The entire time I was still just trying to learn this piece really fast. Take as much time as you need, go slow, be thorough, because your understanding of the piece is going to grow over time, and that's the best thing you can do for a piece that you need to perform. Had I had another week though, I know I would have killed it.
I learned a lot from watching your daily videos. Namely, I never taught them how to practice, I guess, but it was quite painful to watch at times, but yeah, I guess it's on me. I should be a better teacher and teach you guys how to practice better. But it was impressive that this is a very, very difficult piece, and so bravo to Ezra. So we'll see you next time on episode 7. Oh my God, 7. Ciao, bye. Leave us comments. Au revoir.